Well, welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome to the next live match. So first things first, I've got to talk about the last live match we did. Now, thank you everyone who watched that, liked it, subscribed to the channel. People seem to really like the fact that I went into a bit more detail before and after the match. And that's what I want to talk to you about straight away. Now, give me some feedback. I want some comments in the comment section below. Let me know, was there enough detail in that? Was there too much detail? Was there a bit too much rambling? Was there not enough rambling? Because I cut an awful lot out of that because I thought it was too long. But reading the comments from the actual live match video, I will put a link to that in the links below. A lot of you seem to like that, and it obviously gave it a little bit of a different feel to it than other live matches out there. So let me know, do you want more detail, less detail, somewhere in between? Let me know, and we'll adjust it to suit. So without further ado, let's get on with the next live match. Okay, so let's get on with this week's live match. Now, obviously we'll have all the footage again. I listened to a few of your comments, a bit of the feedback, saying that you wanted a different angle during the match. So I've gone out and bought myself another GoPro. So hopefully we'll be able to get two nice angles, chest cam, side cam, should be good. So anyway, on to the match itself. Now, staying really local this weekend. I've got a lot of stuff to do with the kids this weekend, but my local lake does morning matches. So I'm gonna go for the morning match. And the beautiful thing about this is I really fancied doing some roach fishing. Not just roach fishing, but like silvers fishing, like natural fishing. I've been going down there quite a lot, just pleasuring, and I had one evening match that I won, and then I really fancied just having a go. The reason is I really fancy doing some hemp fishing, so it's a perfect one. It just fits in with what I've got to do this weekend with the kids. You know what it's like, swimming lessons, all that jazz. So it fits in with that, and I get a chance to fish a match as well for you guys to see. The lake that we're on, it's quite hard. 8 to 10 pound wins most matches, occasionally a 15 pound. The one I had was 14 pound, the one that I won, but to be honest, it was an evening match, so the weights were always going to be a bit better. But it's quite a tough venue. It's not the easiest. It's gin clear. I expect if I can catch 10 to 12 pound, I shouldn't be far off winning. So the plan is, I've got a two-pronged attack really. I'm going to fish for roach short, so something like 8 meters. Now the lake's quite interesting in the fact that at the top end, it's shallow, sort of 4 to 5 foot, and then down at the bottom end, in the early numbers and the high numbers, it's like a dam end, and it gets down to like up to sort of 10 foot in places. So two totally contrasting places that I'm going to have to like adapt my setup to depending where I draw. But the rough idea is I'm going to find a nice depth at sort of 6 to sort of 10 meters, let's say, depending on depth and weed, because there's a lot of weed in the lake. So 6 to 10 meters, I'm gonna look to find a nice spot with a nice depth to try and catch roach. So the bait I'm gonna go in with for these roach is hemp. I'm just gonna take a tin of hemp to feed. Don't need a lot. I was just the other day when I went 10, 12 grains regular. One tin will be more than enough for what I need. And like I said, the hook bait that I'm gonna grab, I need to actually get it on the way to the venue. I've got to find a nice little elderberry bush on the way there, pick a couple of bunches, and that'll do me for my hook bait. As you saw in the recent video there, elderberries are great. Really, really good hook bait on that venue. Any roach venue. So that's going to be my short line. I'm not going to take any maggots or casters or anything like that. I want it to be a nice simple day. So I'm just going to fish hemp on that short line. Could probably set up a couple of rigs for that. We'll go through the rigs in a minute, but probably set up a couple of rigs. One for fishing on the bottom, one maybe for fishing shallow. And then on the long line, which is where I expect most of my weight to come from, I'm going to fish pellets and ground bait. Now, I did a video there called Pencil Power, link in the description below, and it was all about how I was catching skimmers using pellets, bolt down rigs, getting to the bottom. Absolutely brilliant. Now I'm going to do that again. Simple stuff really. I'm going to mix up literally that much, so what, half a pint of Super Crush green. The reason I've gone for the green, I'd normally use Thatcher's. I'm going to go for Super Crush green because it's a lovely sort of darky colour, and the water is actually like a greeny bluey colour. I know it's gin clear, but it's got that dye in it, and I just think that this will match up with the lake, the colour of the water really nicely. So I'm just going to mix up literally 2 handfuls of that. That's all, like literally, you get 5 or 6 sessions out of this bag with how I'm going to do it. So that's going to be easy. I'm just going to mix that really wet, almost like a paste, and then I'm going to soak up half a bag of 4mm pellets. You've seen how I do that in a shallow tray, literally shallow tray, just cover them with water and leave them. I'll do it overnight so that they have loads of time to absorb the thing, and I just want them nice and big, nice and puffy, and that'll be the perfect feed. I'll loose feed a few of them, but I don't want to loose feed too many because, as we've seen in the past on this venue, you drag in loads of little fish. So my plan is get everything on the bottom, get everything eating, and it'll work really nicely. So I've got the 4mm feeds, so that's it, that's for that. I'm going to mix the two together at spells and feed little balls like on the bottom. May take some corn, I've not decided yet. So that's it on the bait front. Oh, expanders, I need some expanders for the hook. I'll just take some 4mm and 6mm. Because the roach are such a problem on there, I do need to toughen them up a bit. So when I've soaked them, I'll just give them a little drizzle of bait booster. That's the Scope X1. Incidentally, it goes a nice yellow colour, which I think is quite nice for skimmers, that golden colour. Once my expanders are soaked, I'll drizzle them in that, leave them in the fridge, and they'll be perfect. So that's the bait. That's the sort of tactics that I'm going to use. Like I say, 2 lines. My skimmer line will probably be at 13 metres. If I'm in the shallow area, I may even push it out to 14.5. It's going to be hard fishing, so maybe going that a little bit longer, providing the wind allows, is going to be the best bet. I've touched on the rigs, so let's have a closer look at the rigs that I'm going to use. Rigs and hook lengths that I'm going to use for this match. Pretty simple, but a little bit different to the norm. We've got a few things here that you probably don't normally see, probably don't normally use. So let's first go on to the hooks. Now, when I fished the other day, I fished hemp and elderberries and stuff, and I used a 18 SFL as my hook choice, which was a nice hook, but I just felt it was a bit too strong probably for what I was trying to do. I was fishing for roach, so I've gone back into my little hook box and I found some PR412s, these beauties, which are absolutely awesome for roach fishing on commercials. Barber's hook, absolutely love them. Lovely long shank, tight little bend on them that kicks in a bit. Just a great hook, and like I say, it's one that I've used for many years. I've literally got about 4 packs left, so running low, but great hooks. They'll be perfect for hemp and stuff. I just got so much faith in them. And then for the expanders, which is going to be my other sort of ploy, I'm going to use a 16 SFL to 010, lovely sharp hook. But what I'll do, I've tied them up at 6 inch, but I'll probably shorten them to 3 inch when I'm on the bank. I'll just do that on the bank, just chop it in half. Perfect for spotting those shy bites that I showed you on another video where I showed you about using that double bulk with a pencil float. So moving on to the pencil floats, obviously we've got the Paolos, which I spoke about in videos before. It's that lake that I'm fishing, so these will be perfect. I've had to tie up a couple of bigger ones because there are some deep pegs, so I've got them up to even 1.5 grams, so I can bomb it down through the small fish. Again, slight alteration, I've put that hollow bristle on just to make them better. And a bit like with the hooks, for the hemp, which is going to be, I'm going to fish 2 spots, hemp and pellets. I just felt like everything was a bit too manly, if that's the way to say it. Everything was a bit too beefy, I suppose. You know, I was using an F1 maggot, I was using an SFL hook, I was using like 010. It just, I don't know, I just felt like I need to refine everything. So I've gone for a shipper, and just like with the Paolos, I've doctored them slightly and I've put a hollow bristle on, just to make it a bit more visible. My eyes are crap, so I need all the help I can get. And those them little hollow bristles, I can dot them right down and I'll still be able to see them. Interestingly, I've shotted them with tapered bulks of stots. I like stots actually. I know a lot of people don't for the natural fishing, but I do, just because I like to move my shot around a lot throughout the match, and obviously it doesn't damage the line. They're only on 010 main line, so that the wind doesn't affect them. So yeah, so I've got some 0.4s and some 0.25s depending on the depth. And that's it really. Hook lengths are going to be, like I say, nice and light. We've got the SFLs for pellet fishing. We've got the 412s for me hemp fishing. And that's it, that's the rigs. So there you go, a little insight into the rigs I'm going to use. Simple stuff, then pencil floats that I really like for this venue, and then them shippers that I've doctored a bit for the hemp. Those should be perfect. Now, elastic front, for the roach, I just used like a 5 Dura slip. Lovely elastic. You could use original slip, no problem, but I just like this Dura slip, the 5. That's a match kit off a Superior pole. It's actually one off my old response pole actually, because it's got the thinner bore. The new ones have got an even wider bore, which is even better. But for roach fishing, I really like having my elastic just through that section. You could have it through more, but for roach fishing I really like that because it's nice and soft on the strike, of course, but when I get into it a bit and I'm wanting to catch a few fish quickly, I can swing those sort of 4-ounce roach to hand there to chest, no problem, and because it locks out. Whereas if I was to have it through a full top kit, it'd be lovely and soft, don't get me wrong, but I'd be like this trying to swing them, and I'm not into that. I just like to just get them in. And roach, they don't fight that hard, so I don't need loads of elastic, and that is perfect. So that's the 5. Like I said, I've got 2 of them, so I can put 2 rigs on. And then for my skimmers, I've used 8 Dura Hollow in the past, which is nice. But last time I went, I felt like I bumped a few skimmers. Now that could be that they were just not feeling very well. You do bump a few skimmers, but I've just changed my choice a little bit. We are, like I say, getting towards autumn now. It is a bit autumnal. It's cold, and I'm adjusting my elastics to suit. So I've got some 7 Dura Slip. Again, just a beautiful soft elastic. That's for a full top kit. Just gorgeous, so soft. And to be honest, I could probably even use that for my roach fishing, but for skimmers that'd be really nice. I can just lift into them, ship back with no problems. Should be great. Now, one thing I must stress, if I am on the deeper pegs, I'll probably tighten it up a bit, because you do need to set the hook with skimmers. Especially when you're pellet fishing, because you're not giving it a proper whack, you're just lifting into it so your pellet doesn't come off. And a lot of the time, the reason you lose fish is that you haven't actually set the hook properly. So if I am in a deeper spot, that's going in nice, but I'll probably take a few inches off it so it's really pingy. Just something to bear in mind. There's a lot of elastic there, so it'll still be soft once it comes out, but just having that little bit more oomph when you strike can really work. So there we go. So I've got, the plan is to set, like I say, probably 1 skimmer rig up and 2 roach rigs, so simple fishing. That is the basis of the approach. I've got to get my bait on the way to the venue, don't forget that. So we'll jump out the van on the way there. But yeah, I can't wait for the morning. Like I say, it's a 5-hour match, but they draw at 7 in the morning and then fish from, is it 8 till 1, I think it is. So real old school setup, but perfect for me at the minute, because I can still crack on with my day with my daughters afterwards. So really, really perfect. I still get a match in. Should be really nice fishing, because it's a nice bit of roach and skimmer fishing. Can't wait. Okay, first job. Got to get some bait. So let's go into the playing field and get some bait. Hang on. No, we're not going for worms. We're going for elderberries. A bit shriveled up, to be honest. Not the best examples of the species. Disappointing them over there. They're no good. Oh, hopefully there's some at the lake. Over, if you see. Shame. Maybe have to fish out after all. Okay, so this is my swim. Looks great. Very, very cold morning. Same peg I filmed on recently. Bit of luck. Seen a few carp about, but obviously I don't think they count. But looks lovely. Beautiful morning. The heron over there eating crayfish. Some ground bait, some pellets, and that hemp, and that's it. Oh, and me elderberries. Let's see what happens. So 3 rigs. Let's just see what happens. Okay, let's get started. Some hemp in short. Feed one of those on each spot. I've decided to fish 2 on a long pole. It's been so still today. And the same on that other one, just a little ball. A few pellets. I fully expect that to take some time, so start loose feeding. Get a brew going. Come on then, puppy. Take some time to get some bites here today. Plonker. This is good. Good sign already. It's catching length this early. have an early look for skimmers, see what's out there. First put a batch on this. Tent. Just light ones. Just put 2 on there. Let's try the skimmer line. Try left to start with. Expander. Another bite. Skimmer. Fish. I think what I'll try and do is sneak onto that other line and try and rotate them. I'm sure they're not the same depth, but beggars can't be choosers. Start though. Got that 3-inch hook length on that I spoke about before, and fishing for lifts. That's exactly what we just got there. Whoa, what is that? A big hybrid. Look at that for a fish. Look at that. That's a right fish, isn't it? You like them? Jesus Christ. Oh dear. It's like fathomable. Why don't they just net it? What's going on here? Nice one. Skinner. On end. Bonus fish. Nice one. Total fleet that. But we'll take it. Okay, get some skimmers. That's nice. Skim it. Put it in my way then. tasty. Proper fish though. Proper slapper. Proper fish. Top that up then. That went quite well, didn't it? Right, so we are hour and 40 minutes in. Things are going okay. Got a couple of slabs, nice big hybrid, a few skimmers, and a few roach. Lost a bream though, which is really bugging me. And the pellet lines are just, I feel like they're fading rather than getting better. So I'm just going to leave them alone for a bit. Let's see. It helps things. Roach in the meantime, I'll be happy. Very straight away. They're the ones. Well, that feels like a good fish. Right. Hybrid. Cat for a fish on the elderberry. Beautiful. On the right hand one this time. It's about time this right hand one gives me some legs.
because it just looks like a bit of a weed collector that at the moment, that shot. There's a bite. On the right hand one. Big fish, that. Proper one. Lovely. What was nice was I caught that on the right hand one, which has been slow so far, and that was where I've been a bit more aggressive with the bait, so maybe that's the answer. See if we can back it up with another fish. Wasn't expecting that. Bit of a hybrid. Bit of a hybrid, this one. Big roach. Cracking roach. Look at that. That's a fish. I'm going to be on hemp. Look at that. What a beautiful roach. 10, 12 ounce. Not what I expected that. Fish. There it is. That's a big bream. Oh, the wind. Oh, that was lucky. Right, let's find a spot. A new spot, shall we say? Feed that one then. I'm quite positive. Got a few scattering of pellets in as well. And then we're going to get down on the roach for a bit. Feed it in line with that boy. Right, I'll leave that for 10 minutes. That's a new spot. Fed at 16 metres because the other two just feel a bit funny at the minute. Might backfire that, but it's worth trying. Right, let's get some roach fishing done for a spell. So I've just decided now then, a new swim, 16 metres. Sack the other two off. Just fish that one spot. Fresh bottom. Just feed down one spot. Hopefully we'll get a run of skimmers out there. Fish now, eh? Nice fish then. Nice French. line and my elastic got pulled out. Great big roach shallow. On end. Hybrid. Great fishing. Right, let's have a go on this new long pole swim. See what we can catch. A little spell on hemp then, which was quite nice. Spot. Hybrid. Nice. Nice fish. Get in. Right fish. Beautiful. Now what we want. Just hooked. Just hooked. I think I might as well just stay on this till the end now. Gone back on that right hand pellet line. I've got a skimmer, so stay on this till the end.
Right.
What do you reckon then?
Oh, I don't know. It gets weedy down there every time I come down there.
A lot more than I thought.
Yeah, we've had a decent.
Scales.
What's the scale?
I'll stop.
I guessed it. Yeah, I was wrong. I'm not holding it. my God, well done. £24.
£24, lovely. Can I have a quick picture? Well guys, time for a debrief. Now it'd be fair to say that the match went well. We ended up winning with £24, and if you remember in the pre-match sort of chat, I thought £10 would be a good weight, and £10 would have been a really good weight. It would have been more than enough to win. Only £6 was second in the match, but I definitely had a bit of a red letter day. I managed to draw peg 14, which is a peg I won from the last time I fished a match on the venue. Lovely peg, and it's in the shallow end of the lake, so it's 4 foot deep at best, and like I've mentioned it a few times, the lake is gin clear. And what was interesting about this match is the time of day we were fishing. So we were fishing 8:30 till 1:30. So if you think about it, obviously the morning was always going to be decent, and then you on these natural lakes, the middle of the day is always the hardest. And it was so obvious as the match went on. It got to about 10:30 and the lake was just slowing up, and it was actually really hard in the second half of the match, really. So I did all my damage early, to be honest. And I think the lake's so clear, where I was shallow. I just think the fish just back off. They're obviously the natural fish, they just feed when they want to feed. I'm sure if I'd have fished in the evening, it would have caught a load as well. But anyway, it was, yeah, like I say, a bit of a red letter day, to be honest with you. £24. I don't know how many fish I had. I had probably 8 or 9 good skimmers, 2 bream, a couple of really big hybrids that pull like mad, some quality roach, and then 30 or 40 roach on hemp, something like that. Just really nice fishing. So there's a few little key points that I thought would make for interesting reading or viewing, whichever way you want to look at it. Now I tangle one of my rigs, so that one is gone, as you saw on the video. Right, I've got my little stack of Rooney here. I thought I'd just quickly run you through the rigs that were good. The 0.4 shipper, fish lovely, absolutely useless, couldn't get any bites on that. 0.25 one, however, was a really, really good rig for me on the day. That was a strung out number 11 shot, 2 inches off the bottom, just so it held onto it. An elderberry was really good, but as you saw, I actually got to my elderberry bush and they were all over. So the berries that I did get from the lakeside were a bit, they weren't the best, which is a shame because it was by far the best hook bait. Tears, don't know, I really struggle with tears. I don't know if I'm preparing them wrong. I just seem to miss too many bites on them for my liking. Hemp was better than tears, I thought, but elderberries was better still. Adding that 1.5 bristle to the shipper made it beautiful. I could dot it right down, fish it nice on the drop, and that 1.5 bristle worked really well. The 18 PR412 worked perfect. Absolutely lovely little setup that. And like I said, the 0.4 one was rubbish. That one was great. For the skimmers, I used a 0.5 Paolo. Now I did a pencil power video with this. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link in the description below. And this was shotted with a bulk and 2 number 8 droppers, but the 2 number 8s were sat 3 inches above the hook together, like a double bulk. And that worked really well. Didn't get so many lift bites this week. There were a lot more like little lifts and then sailaways. I think that was the stamp fish I was catching. It was noticeable that there wasn't so many of those 6 to 8 ounce skimmers feeding. Every skimmer I caught was a decent one. And I think they feed probably a little bit different to them little skimmers. I could have probably put a bit of line on the bottom and fished like bulk and 2 droppers, to be honest with you. A bit more liggy rather than fishing so like, I don't know what you call it, technical, like looking for lifts and stuff. Let's get into how I fished it. So I fished hemp at 8 metres, which was great. I just put half a pot in at the start and then loose fed, and that was great. Lovely little way to fish that. Main swims were obviously the skimmer swims, which I decided, because the lake was, where I was flat calm to start with, and it was, like I said, gin clear, really cold morning, almost a frost. I decided to fish 2 lines at 10 and 2 in the same depth, within a few inches. I could use the same rig, I just moved the float every time I changed sides. And my thinking being was I could probably catch a fish off one side, move to the other, catch a fish and either feed it and leave it or just leave it. So that's what I did, I fished 10 and 2. Now the left hand swim to start with, which is closer to the corner, it's getting shallower to your left. That was the best side. There was some real nice skimmers there, nice hybrid. But what happened was when the fish got feeding there, all that silkweed on the bottom and dying weed. It was like this black clingy stuff. Just, the fish must have just uprooted it, because every time I went in I was just getting slimed up with this stuff, and it became incredibly frustrating. The right hand swim wasn't as good, but I could fish there much more cleaner. I could keep my rig clean, so that was good. But that was the fish were definitely on the left. But I did bump one there, and that seemed to be the end of that. I don't think I think I cut it out of the film, but I bumped a fish, lost it, a decent one as well, a proper bream, and it never really happened there after that. All I fed was a little nugget of that Super Crush Green that you saw me prepare, filled with 4 mils. So it's just like neat food and almost like a putty, so it just goes straight to the bottom and takes ages to break down. That works ever so well for skimmers for me, that little setup. And then loose feeding and 4 mil over the top. I couldn't make my mind up whether loose feeding was right or not, but it didn't seem to do any harm. So in hindsight, I think 2 lines was too much. It was hard to manage. It was definitely right as in having the option to move, because it was so obvious that whenever I rested a swim, either topped it up, went back on it, I'd catch one straight away. It was very obvious that, but it was quite hard to manage. And I think if I'd have just fed one spot in front of me at 14.5 metres, gone out, nicked me skimmer, come back in, maybe tried for 2, come back in, went back on hemp and then go back out, it would have been a bit easy to manage. But I was a bit, I'm saying this like there's loads of mistakes. There wasn't, because I caught a really good weight, but I was just trying to think of like things that I could have changed, and I think one swim would have been enough. And as the match went on, it was getting harder and harder. Like I say, as we were approaching the middle of the day, it was getting really hard. The fishing was getting harder and harder, and it was just like go on hemp, catch 7 or 8 roach, then that'd die. There was a lot of pike activity, and it was funny because before the match started and for the first hour and a half, there was carp jumping out everywhere on the other side. There's like a sunken island out there, and the carp were all over it. And then as soon as it got to 11 o'clock, half 10, 11, that all stopped, and it was like the big fish activity in the lake just stopped. So we sort of worked our way through it, kept bumbling along, and then it was a case of just nicking an odd fish. I did start a new line at 16 metres. I caught a big hybrid off that, but to be honest, again, I should have just stuck to my guns and probably sacked off that left-hand skimmer line because of the weed. The weed was just becoming a nightmare by this point. But the right-hand one, I probably should have just stuck with that, because I did go on that late after not feeding it for like an hour and caught a skimmer. So maybe if I'd have just stuck with that, I'd have probably caught another 3 or 4 on that one maybe. The hemp was good. Again, as I said in my last video, just lifting and dropping all the time, putting the rig through so the hook bait's fluttering through. Really important that for that sort of fishing. And yeah, it was just a really nice day's fishing. I caught some lovely fish, big skimmers, big bream, big roach, just quality fish, and it was a really enjoyable day's fishing. Like I say, 24 pounds, so it was a good weight. I think that's probably the biggest weight on the lake this year. Hooked a few fish, lost a few fish, so probably had 30 pound on the hook, to be honest, which would have been an amazing weight. Don't know what the match record is, but they used to catch like 60 pounds and stuff years ago, but them fish are long gone now. But yeah, it was just a really, really good day's fishing. Hope you enjoyed it. There was a lot of action there. And if you did enjoy it, let me know in the comments below. We'll get the next one done over the next few weeks, and we'll see you again on the next video.